What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey. I'm Shakira. I'm sitting in my normal spot, and Kitty is being super adorable. Anyway, I've been up since 5, of course, doing my ICT. He dropped a vid on yesterday's PM session that I wanted to practice and dive into his mind and how he was seeing price and understand. And he introduced a new method for entry. So I thought we could try and dissect that for maybe about 20 minutes, half an hour before I start working like a good little soldier. Anyway, if that sounds like a good time, it's just more practice for me, but feel free to drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you feel like it. This is my journey. I am here for it because I have a dream. All right, Kitty has settled back down. Cool, cool, cool. And let's see if I can go from scratch and dissect this because I need to solidify so I can understand it and see it in the future. And I'll be doing this a lot. It's crazy. All right, let's get tiny. Cool. All right, so I'm on my single screen, so I'll be staring here. First things first, it's Tuesday. Oh my God, I can't believe it's Tuesday. Where's the time going? Seriously. Anyway, anything exciting? 9:45, flash services PMI. 10 o'clock, Richmond Manufacturing Index. And, okay. Nothing that I'm gonna be like super crazy about. I am going to grab an empty. I'm gonna grab a empty layout for this just for the funsies. Beautiful. I dropped my micro. Why do they do that and give you like the volume thing on the bottom when you create like a new one? Like I didn't even ask for that. And how do I get rid of it? Anyway, let's go to the daily. And I don't want this. Why is it not going away? Is it broken? Oh, that's annoying. Maybe I grab one of my, I was gonna grab one of my backtesting ones. There we go. And you can go the way of the dodo because what the heck, man? All right. So let's remove all of that and let's zoom in on yesterday's price action so we can see what the heck and heck happens. I'm going to chop out what's been happening for today so I just get closer to it. So, yesterday's price action, we had a couple of scenarios. So, ICT started out talking from the daily and actually started out from here where um, the expectation was for price to, if it busted about halfway through this, which is consequent encroachment, then, we could expect it to take out these highs. So we had this um, buy side liquidity that was taken, right? So if we were to draw this across the top of this guy, buy side liquidity, this big rejection candle right here is where they stopped. Look at that. They took it out a little bit, but they stopped there. Anyway, so let's drop down to a lower time frame and let's let's try and work through what he was thinking. So he drew our attention to this fair value gap, and he was expecting them to come and take most of it. Actually, I think if we get on to the 15-minute, we'll be a little bit more precise to what he was looking for. All right, so he was hoping to take out this fair value gap right here because he wanted um, a deeper discount for a long entry with, I think 4012, this fair value gap as a target. So let's mark that all out. And I'm not as precise, but I will grow into this. Let me just dive in over here and make sure I've got it just right. And right there. Approximation. Right there. Yes. Okay. So I think the base of this was like 4012. Yeah. So he was like drawing our attentions to the base of the fair value gap at 4012 and a quarter as a target. But he was hoping price would drop down further and give him a better option for an entry. Sadly, that didn't happen. But if we zoom in, it did take out this um, sell side liquidity right there. And let me just, so I'm trying to make sure I understand what to look for. Sell side liquidity. And I really need to set this to left or the middle, whatever. Sell side liquidity. So this formed a buy side liquidity on the top here as well to be taken out, which they did. So I'm just marking out areas of interest, like targets, like bullseyes, like where can I get my money, right? Boom. Along with this guy up here. Okay, so he was hoping for them to come down further. It didn't, so he didn't feel comfortable taking an entry. But they did come back, well, into this little tiny fair value gap on the 15-minute right there. And after they made this break, this market structure shift, took out the buy side. I mean, I don't know if you felt like, I think he felt like this order block would have kept the price from going any lower. It didn't, and they decided to come back into this thing. So this is, I think, why he was talking about it being too choppy, because then in my mind, once this broke, I would have expected this order block to be held. But I mean, it broke past this order block. It was kind of mean, really mean. So let's go on into 5 minutes and see what this looks like at that time, right? So I guess from my perspective, I would have been expecting them after they made this nice shift to come back into this. And I probably would have put like an order here with a stop loss under probably this imbalance because it's too close. So like right under that candle. What would that have looked like? Because if I had this order right here at the base of this, maybe the middle of this imbalance approximately within the order block, middle would have been about there. Oops. And then stop loss below this imbalance, 16 handles, and then aiming for this thing up here. That would have gotten us, um, and let's do a quick calculation because I'm trying to understand what I'm risking, right? So 16 ticks times, where's my timesy? Where's the xing? Okay, x times 1.25. So in this one, I'm risking 1.25 times 16. Oof, $20. And then just put the risk next to it. So it's a $20 risk. I don't know that I like that because my risk level is at $10. So I probably wouldn't have taken that if I had to since I would have to calculate it right. But the 91 times 1.25 would have been a nice 142 in profit, right? So risk of 20, so that's 2% of my count, which I guess I'm probably gonna have to get over, but I don't like it. Times 1.25 to the base of that imbalance would have given us 142 0.1875 in potential profit. So I mean, as it stands, it's not a bad look, right? Now, what did this look like on the 1 minute? Just for funsies. Let's get over here. Now, would we have been able to find a better entry? So this taken, break here, order block here. Let's take a look at it. Imbalance. There's this order block right here. If I was being, I mean, I don't know anything about this. Traffic looks insane to me, so I don't even know what that is. But let's say I had chosen, from the 1 minute, I'm finding like on the 1 minute, like these things I expect to get taken on like higher time frames, and I'm expecting a little less insanity. But if we'd done, say, even this one and then just put it under here, still would have put it under the imbalance because it's too close and they could dip into it. So we could have gotten a little closer entry like that. And it would have been a 1 to 13. And then if I'd been really, really like in the middle of this imbalance or something, 1 to 11. But, it's all in hindsight, right? Like, it's great. Choppy, choppy, choppy. So if we decided, and let me get rid of this because I'm just curious as to how that would have played out. So now we've hit, and we are at what? I gotta remember to pay attention to time. So 9:30 came, and they did this weirdness, and then they pulled away, created this break right here on the 1 minute, this imbalance, which they didn't bother to trade back into, this fair value gap. But they decided that this little fair value gap and this order block right here was the way to go. So we had potential secondary area here for an entry, and with this order block. So, and then let's see, what's uh the the close 4,450. The low of this is 4,525. So let's zoom in a little more because I'm just curious. Like, did they get back to the base of this? No, they didn't. So an order from the top of this wick, end of this imbalance would have been good. Same scenario. Let's see. So if we'd taken that order right here, because we're expecting it to act as support, if we're following what ICT says, set or stop loss at the base of this imbalance. That's 9 ticks. And then we're so close to the imbalance, aim for it. So that's what? 46. But, he's saying like, so 9 ticks for 20, right? So if we were just going for the 20 ticks, which should give us 5 handles, then it would have been a quick in and out. Again, we could have aimed for the base because we're looking for 4012 anyway to get taken out, and had 24 handles. So 24, I'm not going to bother to type it out. So 125 by 24 would have given us $30. And then we're risking times 9, 1125. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Now, it gave us a second opportunity to enter here again at this imbalance support. And then it looks like the next area that we had was the 40, 35 and a quarter, which is on the daily, I believe. So let's go over to the daily. Where is it? As the top of this thing right here. So this right here would have been like the main target for the day, right? Let's go back down to the 5 minute and let's see how that traded into it. So what time is it now? So this is that 5 handle option. I don't know that I would have had the wherewithal to actually put something here for a trade. Still too new. I would have probably did this order block and dropped it below here, but I don't know if I like that, how much risk that is, or just below this. That would have come close to stopping me out, but giving me the order I wanted. But I'm not good enough for any of that action just yet. So now that we know we're obviously very bullish now. Let's go back into the 1 minute over here. So we know we're gonna bust, and then once we busted above this imbalance, we didn't really, at least ICT didn't really feel like they were gonna be doing much else. So, once we started trading on the in the noontime hour, because oops, it topped out at 11:20. So did it give us any other opportunities to get in for, say, a long? Like this one right here, you could have kept and let that run to the 40.35. What is this buy side liquidity right here? 40.24. Or did I just move it by accident? Hold on. Let's back up and make sure I'm not losing my mind for the day. I think it got hold on. I think my thing got my buy side liquidity got moved. Sorry about this, guys. Let me dive back in here. Yeah, I did. Sorry about that. There. Let's go back into our let's drop down slowly so we can get in. And it looks like the 15-minute fair value gap is now turned into support. And is this on the, yeah, this is Monday. So it turned into support, and then we into this imbalance, then we sort of flew away. But still wondering about entries into this area here. And it took out 40.35 nicely. Let's go into the 5 minute. All right, so never came back down to this order block. We had this guy right here. I think, ICT was feeling like, this, if we're going to continue on up, this is after the lunch hour, right? So if we're going to, I'm trying to understand this, like, so this thing here should technically turn itself into support, right? Not like support resistance as other folks look at it, but it should be supporting the price up. So if this turns into, if it breaks past it, which it did during after lunch, then this should give us our first take into taking a short into the afternoon. Or was it this one? There's this bigger one. This little guy right here. Yeah, this one, sorry. Still trying to recognize this big guy down here is still like um, targets, because this low on the afternoon would be like the target. So this would be like the afternoon, the lunchtime sell side liquidity, I think. Yeah, so you just gotta consistently know where your targets are, and then it looks like they dropped back into the 15-minute fair value gap to take out this guy right here, and then they bounced away. But so he was trying to show trade. Let me push this back to about here. He's trying to show on the 1 minute how we could have traded this, right? And we gotta get on to the 1 minute. Okay, so make sure I'm looking at it from the right angle here. So here's another one that could have held price up. Order block right here. and it busted right through it. So technically, once it busted right through it, then we should be able to, um, are those the same? Let me see. The low of that is 40, 50, 75, and price reached back. The high of that is 40, 50. Wow, that would have been spot on for the short because this is broken. It didn't hold price. Got a nice break in structure here. And then it traded back up perfectly into the base of this order block, bullish order block, now I guess breaker block. And then it dropped. And then this model is another. Oh, and then he was mentioning that. Let me just drop this over the end. This is the lunchtime high. We call this like the 2 o'clock macro model. So if there's an order block that's formed, right, and then there's a shift in the structure, then you can use that level, which, hold on, what's the high of that? 40, 51. As long as there's a, I guess we can consider this is like an old high with an imbalance attached to it. And there's a break or a shift, then that's like a change, and we can expect lower price instead of higher prices for the afternoon session. And then this would have been a buy entry right there. Right there. So, I mean, for folks who can be that precise, right? And then you put your stop loss above this candle right here. And then we can aim for the afternoon's low down here to get that taken out. And what would that have looked like? 70, okay, and 6. Pretty close on the ticks there, not bad at all. Let's do that. So 1.25 times 6, so we'd be risking 7.5, which is beautiful and within my risk tolerance, for a potential gain of 87.50. Not bad. I like that. Now I just need to remember how to spot it. Make sure I look to the left. Do I have a low? This is something that happens after the lunchtime hour around the 2 o'clock time frame, right? Close to it. That's spot on. And, making sure that we have something to aim for. Buy side, fair value gap, even all the way down here. This and this one down here. I'm new, so I'm not going to be super greedy about it because I'll be trading one contract and just writing it to where I have to. And then, because, see, and that would have played out beautifully and it would have taken how long? Say we got the entry here, like a boss, 38 minutes. That is insane to me. Why? Because last year when I was trading crypto, I would be sitting in something for like 15 hours or, longer, and then getting frustrated it was taking so freaking long. Like, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. And here we have scenarios that could play out in 30 minutes. Shoot, it could play out in like 1 minute if the market's really light, you know? It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I see why he's so adamant about us paying attention and learning and looking at what he's trying to showcase, because this level of precision is insane. I mean, let's zoom in on this, okay? We have an old high from lunchtime with an imbalance. We've got a break in structure right here because we have this intermediary low and this imbalance that was supposed to hold the price. It didn't. It busted through it like gangbusters. And then we had this order block here, and then we had this order block here. Either one of those would have been good places for entries, right? Place your stop loss above this candle, and then you're off to the races. And that's a shift in the afternoon. So time is so very important. And I like that. I like that a lot. Like it makes a lot more sense to me. And then if you're watching this, like they were literally making these relatively equal highs, barely anything, no real imbalances above here, and they took it and for bullish, right? Which we were. So boom, look at that. Gone. Then came back down. And if we were, after this insanity right here, I would have been feeling like, all right, so once that's done, maybe I can take an entry from here. But what's my target? The original target was here. So, if I'd gotten that entry in the morning, let's go back. 40.51. So they took it out lunchtime. But we were looking for 40.35 and a quarter in the morning. We got that. And then they just kept going. And then they had a low here when they ate into this imbalance, traded up a little bit into this thing. By the way, break right here. This imbalance could be considered an area for an entry. What's the low of this red candle right here? It's 40.46 even, and then this guy that traded back up, the high of it was 40.46 even. Wow. So imagine if you'd been insane enough to take that order, you would have gotten that, and they were aiming for this imbalance. Boom, done. This is it's real interesting, isn't it though? I mean, just seeing how price works, because I'm finding that like as let's say I'm waiting for, price to come down into this thing, like the first time it taps it, that's not enough for me. It needs to come back down a second time and take that out because I'm finding that that happens all the time. And could we have taken a five handle wrong from, say, the middle, consequent encroachment is what he's calling it, the middle of this imbalance? Yes, yes, we could have right there. And then put our stop loss below that candle and then 20 up. That's already 20 handles right there. Boom. You would have come and then you would have gotten your stuff in T minus, it's $25, right? In T minus like a minute, 2 minutes. Want that. If I can catch 20 handles every time I drop in here, boom, boom. Because once it tapped this guy, I'm thinking, if it can't break above this, then it's going to take this low out, sell side, and then do what it needs to do. But I probably wouldn't have done 20 handles. I would have just tapped the bottom of this thing. And that would have taken a few more minutes, but I would have gotten 28 handles. Did it bother to take the top of this imbalance? It did. So I could have taken the whole of the imbalance. And that would have been 36 handles with a 7 tick stop loss. But then you don't want to be too greedy because it did break. You're expected to come back into like the bigger imbalance. I don't expect it to touch this guy, not for a while. It does, but with that break, I would have expected it to come down and, you know, maybe top this order block, maybe eat this imbalance. It doesn't until the afternoon, but yeah. And then we have this breaker right here. breaker block. Because it was an order block, we expected to hit it and then fall. It didn't. So on this 1 minute breaker, and I'm going to take both of those candles because they're the whole order block. Where do we see it coming into? Yeah, so this breaker block also became a point of resistance inside the breaker and then it fell off. Interesting. Lots to learn, lots to understand. All right, guys, I was going to keep this. It's 30 minutes, so we're done. Happy hunting. Um, be safe with the trading. Looks like we might get some sunlight for a change. That would be nice. Be safe. Continue learning. I know I am. I can't sleep at night. I'm thinking so much about this, you know? But drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know how things are going with you. Jakira, out.